is a city with multiple identities and names. The capital city of Karnataka, also known as India's Silicon Valley, is the country's IT hub. Famous for its green canopies and beautiful lakes, it is also known as the Garden City and as Pensioners' Paradise. But it's so much more. It is a city of ideas, entrepreneurship and innovation. The city accounts for 40% of India's unicorns. A city of great food, great sport, home to some of the best education institutions of the country. This is a city that is a magnet for people from across the country. According to the latest Bengaluru Innovation Report, Bengaluru is poised to be the world's fastest growing city over the next 15 years with a projected GDP growth of 8.5% until 2035. Building on this projection, Deccan Herald, Karnataka's leading chronicler, has taken the lead to develop a blueprint for Bengaluru. For the last 2 years, the Deccan Herald Bengaluru 2040 Summit has held sustained conversations envisioning ways in which Bengaluru can become a world-class city. Started in 2022, the Bengaluru Summit has become an annual event that attracts prominent figures from Bengaluru. These are not just the cities, but the country's most influential figures from a diverse cross-section of disciplines, from Padma Bhushan awardee Dr. Devi Shetty to Infosys founder N.R. Narayan Murthy, from sports legends like Ashwini Nachappa and Ashish Balal to pioneers from pharma research and development like Kiran Majumdar-Shaw. Deccan Herald, through this annual event, is continuing its initiative of shining a light on the solutions needed for the city's developmental problems through conversations that aim to make Bengaluru a smart city by 2040. This is the third edition of Deccan Herald Bengaluru 2040 Summit, where over 200 thinking minds are going to come together and think about and ideate on actionable plan on what would be the future roadmap of developing Bengaluru as a city in terms of both the infrastructure, understanding in which ways you can develop the technological and entrepreneurship hub, and really looking at the possibilities of just reimagining the city.
To now set the foundation for the Deccan Herald 2040 Summit, I'd like to call on stage the CEO of the Printers Mysore and the editor of Deccan Herald, Sitaraman Shankar.
We celebrated our 75th year the paper last year, as some of you may know. 75 years of chronicling the city, the state and the country. We see ourselves as a paper with a national outlook, with Bengaluru at its heart. As a paper,
it is with the experience of those 75 years that Deccan Herald editor Sitaraman Shankar explained just why the conversations at Bengaluru 2040 Summit are so critical.
The city quadrupled in size over a 3-decade period starting in 1979. An economic boom resulted in encroachments on water bodies and building over drainage. Only 20 out of 204 lakes in the city are free of encroachment now. Concrete covers more than 80% of Bengaluru compared with 8% 50 years ago.
There are discussions that are right now taking place between politicians, policymakers, academicians, think tanks, the big corporates, sustainability advocates and athletes, different stakeholders all coming together right here in this place, reimagining what the city of Bengaluru is going to look like as it moves towards the year 2040.
This is a bit more blue sky thinking. So we're looking at some of the higher tech solutions for that. We're looking at how technology can help the common man. We're looking at the future of real estate. We're looking at the future of education. As you know, Bangalore is home to some of the best educational institutions in the country. We're talking of things as interesting as the future of food. A lot of people will say that Bangalore is already the food capital, or it could be a bigger food capital going forward. We have some very interesting sessions here. We're talking about the future of sports.
I would like to congratulate Deccan Herald for setting the stage for the future of a well-planned Bangalore.
A 360-degree approach to the prosperity of any community has to necessarily start with the continuing good health of its citizens. And that is why Dr. Sudarshan Balal, chairperson of Manipal Hospitals, laid particular emphasis in his keynote address on how inequality affects access to healthcare services.
And I want you to keep the champagne glass in your mind. I think all these conclaves are very important for two reasons. One is they are a catalyst for us to move on. You know, people get sort of very complacent unless someone pokes you and wakes you up. So these, in my opinion, are catalysts for us to think about the future and plan for the future. The second thing is being the media, you have access to a large number of general public. And whatever we do here will reach the general public, and hopefully there will be more awareness created about what needs to be done for the future.
Government representatives serve as the backbone in formulating policies crucial for steering the city's development towards the future. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah marked his presence at the summit as a leader committed to the citizens of Bengaluru, talking about what the Karnataka government aims to do to achieve this dream of sustainable development through collective action.
Bengaluru, a city that stands proudly as one of the top technology hubs globally, deserves our utmost attention and priority in terms of development. It is not merely a city, it is a symbol of innovation, diversity and progress. As the Chief Minister of Karnataka, I am committed to ensuring that Bengaluru continues to thrive and reach global scales by focusing on critical aspects such as infrastructure, quality of living and citizen amenities.
Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar also happens to be Minister in charge of Bengaluru Development and Town Planning. He spoke about developing the idea of Brand Bengaluru via a video message, suggesting the solutions to traffic and housing issues.
Bangalore is not a well-planned city like Chandigarh or Delhi, but still it is our duty to see that citizens are giving a lot of taxes to the central and the state government. We should give them proper facility for their development and for their satisfaction. See, now in our economy and our policies, we allow any common man to buy even on a credit card. This is the days which are there. Any car can buy, but we can't expand our roads due to various composition which we have to pay. It is very difficult. The only solution is going for the public transport like metro and urban rail system, and some metros, some tunnels has to be created. Adding up more buses for a common man, I think there we can somehow sort out the problem. And number two is, the second option is we have to create cities around Bangalore, 30-40 kilometers away from Bangalore, and see that Bangalore has been diverted to those directions.
Talking of the growth of satellite areas, the last 2 decades have seen a significant burst in the population of the city. Any discussion on planning to develop Bengaluru in a way where there is a balance between public and commercial interests is a discussion between big builders and the Karnataka Real Estate Regulatory Authority, a relationship between the city, its developers and its citizens.
Malana, I'll just shoot the next question to you. I mean, there's a clear rhythm that goes in the market that the developers are the reasons why there's infrastructure chaos in the city. What do you think about it? Is that the reason? Are the developers to be blamed?
So really want to understand that, when does this blame comes? When does this blame comes is when there is a traffic chaos and people say that there is a mindless development that's happening, or then there is a water shortage. You're really giving too much credit to the developers. It is really about a coordination that needs to happen. It's not that we have not had, we've always been correct. So the things can be improved much better than this is what I think. And it's a government and the private coming together with one vision that Bangalore has to be developed in a better way.
I think whether it is 2040 or if we had met for the first summit, the issues continue to be the same. One, the drinking water. You must be aware that we get water from a very, very long distance. Two, the solid waste management has become an extreme big issue because we generate something like 6 to 6,500 tons every day, and we are not able to address this fully. 3, the stormwater drains have been a very important issue for the town anyway, more so in Bangalore because of the kind of a geographical location. Traffic, as I said earlier also, I'll not mention it here, but it is an issue which touches almost every Bangalorean or anybody coming to Bangalore. All these 4 issues what I just narrated, 1, they are doable. All of them are doable to the best of 100% satisfaction or 60%. That depends how we work for that.
Coming up after a short break, the discussions begin. From urban planning, realty and climate to education, sports, food and cinema. Deccan Herald Bengaluru 2040, a prestigious summit attended by some of India's most influential industry leaders, policymakers, artists and activists, sports people and urban planners.
It's a great pleasure and privilege.
This was a collaborative conversation with one purpose: to plan a solutions-oriented roadmap for a Bengaluru of the future. Central to all these discussions was planning for climate resilience. The focus was on the water shortage that Bengaluru faces. A city of over 14 million with the population only set to rise, how is it looking to work out its water crisis? Bengaluru is only the 3rd city in India to have made a climate action resilience plan. But how much of this is workable?
There are only 4 cities in the world of this size that actually sit on plateaus. Okay, Mexico City, Quito is smaller than this. Addis is about half the size of the city. So we are not only 100 kilometers away from our primary water source, which means of course we don't get flooded like Patna and many other cities, but we're also 1,000 meters above it. And in a world in which it's not only the temperature that's changing, it is the rainfall that is changing. So Bangalore has a wonderful weather, but we're going to have a very difficult climate.
In all of the conversations on how to use technology and AI, land use and mobility issues, there was a consistent effort to discuss new possibilities of planning a sustainable, circular loop within the city.
One of the things, we have a lot of potential in Bangalore, which we haven't explored so far, is the potential of government-community private partnerships. Environmental awareness is very strong. Communities that protect lakes, communities that plant trees, that save trees from being felled, that do traffic management, waste cleanup. Because the problem with just the private-public partnerships is often it tends to become a for-profit. So greenery or lakes are being exploited for profit, which means the ecological side or the citizen side of it gets short-lived. And when you get communities in, I think you really make that work for the city, which is what it really needs to do.
Water, we are deficient because we are very far away from the various rivers. But on the positive side, we have enough of rain. It is not a desert area at all, and we are in a position with our lakes to capture it. Only thing is, they are right now seeing of disuse because a lot of sewage is entering into the lakes. Once we take care of our sewage and treat the water properly, which wastewater is treated and reused, the lakes will also be reviving and lakes will become a good buffer. So floods, etc., we can take care.
The city of Bengaluru is known as the tech capital of the country, from auto engineering and healthcare to entrepreneurship and IT. Technology is playing a major role in how Bengaluru ticks. In fact, Bengaluru has 1/3 of all the tech talent in the country.
As of now, not a single architecture of a chip or a single software that has a global release is released globally without a line written by a Kannadiga.
We should celebrate that. Give it a big round of applause. We have our way of saying it too in the company. For the ones who get excited, we say there's a little bit of India in every Mercedes. I'm part of the NASSCOM ER&D Council. And I can tell you, we meet a lot of companies that come in looking for Bengaluru, especially for talent, consulting us and asking us to share experiences. And destination number one, choice number one is always this city. I can also agree with Sonia.
Manu Saleh, Managing Director of Mercedes-Benz Research and Development India, moderated a discussion on the kind of talent available in Bengaluru with Karnataka's Information Technology and Biotechnology Minister Priyank Kharge and other tech leaders and entrepreneurs. The conversation delving into cutting-edge concepts such as quantum tech and neuromorphic computing, with a stress on using technology, innovation and artificial intelligence in problem solving for the city.
I think the government is very clear in its approach for its course on 2040. With the dynamics of technology changing every day, we need to be better prepared. So the government intends to have the best workforce globally from the state, and skilling is a big part of it. So we are skilling, we are creating centers of excellences for incubation, which will lead to innovations, which will lead to research and development, and thereby lead to entrepreneurship. So we are building a solid base of skill development in emerging technologies, which will foster innovation and entrepreneurship.
Bengaluru is also a premier destination for higher education, with some of the country's best management, law, technology and science institutes based in the city. What role can academic mentors play in nurturing young minds, the future workforce of the state and the country? Training and syncing them to sustainable development goals is of critical importance for taking Bengaluru to brilliance by 2040.
How do you see higher education contribute to the growth of Bangalore?
Institutions like ours play a big role. I think it's really important to kind of dwell on what that means for an education institution.
In almost any global ranking you see, Bangalore already figures as one of the leading innovation hubs in the world. And that's because, as I just mentioned, you have startups spanning multiple industries. Of course, technology may be at the heart of many of them, but they really address multiple domains.
The city and the people of Bengaluru also find expression in its arts, its cinema, music and even food. How does the spirit of the city manifest itself in its music?
For all kinds of films.
What is New Bengaluru cinema?
Made and can be watched and appreciated in the city.
Technically, the cameras have changed. So the films have changed, and I think art represents the society around you.
We definitely explore urban side of it in most of the films. They show the other class of people who stay in slums. There are slums in Bangalore also.
So to me, sustainability is ideal use of natural resources. Restaurant owners and food entrepreneurs have to come together in sharing of knowledge.
Going to culinary colleges, they actually teach you shouldn't waste anything. That's the first thing they teach you.
How can Bengaluru shape the dining trends of the future, and what does it take to make it India's sports capital? Any kind of development has to take in these factors that all collectively go into making a city a living and breathing entity.
First of all, Deccan Herald has put this entire initiative together. I spent the whole morning here, and we're talking about climate, we're talking about transportation, about medical, and sport actually ticks all those boxes, because you're talking about lifestyle, you're talking about your youth, you're talking about being fit. And if we have a fit state and a fit set of people, your medical expenses are going to come down. The access, and you're just going to have fitter, stronger people who can move around.
But in a day full of insightful conversations and solutions-oriented discussions,
Encouragement makes them do. My teammates and I will be briefed.
Perhaps the voices everyone listened to the most came from the youngest contributors, the children of your school Chimney Hills, the future inheritors of Bengaluru, the citizens with perhaps the greatest stake in Bengaluru 2040.
As a little girl who will become a teenager by 2040, I dream of a city where the youth can blossom. A center of global education that attracts students from all over the world. A place where mental health is prioritized and depression and suicide rates are low, with inclusive facilities in every public building. A place where we can be our authentic selves and not be discriminated for it.
How do we make Anjali's dream come true? By bringing in more of the reputed institutions like All India Institute of Medical Science, International Institute of Sports Management, we can make Bengaluru an epitome of education. By introducing more community spaces that foster a sense of belonging and provide everybody with a safe space to express themselves, we would uplift and protect the mental health of all the citizens.
These are the voices that matter. Bengaluru's inheritors spelling out their vision for the city's future to those who can turn that vision into a reality. And so it is that, year after year, the Deccan Herald Bengaluru 2040 Summit brings together the most influential names and the brightest minds from the city, all with one vision: to make Bengaluru a world-class city by 2040.